Good morning, people. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk TV here on AOC Community Media. That's Cox 15 and LUS Channel 3 here in Lafayette. As always, we want to start the show off by letting people know in the community, in the five parish surrounding area, in all of South Louisiana, to please go out and support community-based media. See, I got my AOC cup. Please support AOC Community Media, all the great people over there at AOC Community Media. Now is the time more than ever to support community-based media because right now we at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads where media on a national level has been pressured by the present administration to tone down the controversy and tone down the investigations, tone down everything that shows that this administration is not for the people. So please support community-based media. I hope AOC is not going to be targeted in the future by those who want to seek to stymie free speech since they believe in the Constitution, the so-called MAGA movement who's running things now. So there's a lot of proof, a lot of evidence. A matter of fact, I'm gonna start off with this image I'm gonna bring up concerning what they would call DEI, which to me is what you call anti-blackness. Uh, they want to do away. They want to do away with all the uh, Black History program, acknowledgement of Black history, even the good and the bad. It doesn't matter. They know the facts speaks for themselves, and they what they're trying to do. Their generation of let's say Caucasians and even our young Black youth, they want to stymie the information about the past, how horrible it was, and how this country is based on lies. But we have good people in this country who want to bring the truth forward. So they're trying to do away with all of these programs, such as going into the National Civil Rights Museum that the Smithsonian actually is facilitating. Even though some of it is private donation and a lot of the information is by private entities, they still want to control that narrative. So you see what if you don't stop them here, they're gonna come into your mindset and tell you whenever you open your mouth and say these people are racist, these people have a racist history, they're gonna want to shut you up at the end of a gun barrel or a bullet. So people check that out. Please push back on it. You should all be worried. This is the canary in the mine. They want to stymie your free speech. So check that out. I want to start off, and I'm gonna come back to this. I want to start off with some of the speeches we participated. Our talk show, Community Defender, Real Talk TV, Open Line Radio, and all the platform that Sister Khadijah and I and others are a part of. Brother Darrell Muhammad, I want to thank him for coming down and support the SOX organization that put on a forum in Girard Park this past um, Saturday concerning youth violence prevention. And I know we say gun violence, we say stop the gun violence, we say all of these catchphrases and words, but the whole issue is we got to do something. And we had some very enlightened situation that was going on that was, I mean, just brought out. And so in other words, we gained a lot of enlightenment talking to those who were part of that whole notion of getting the information out. So I want to bring up this speech by this young sister who's very dynamic. She's a professor, a doctor of certain teachings in New Orleans, and she brought some very great points to the whole argument of what's going on with our youth. So here's a clip from her.
if I know my neighbor don't have a job and her children in their hungry and I have bread and meat, they have a sandwich. That's engagement. But no, what we have done, particularly in the black community, is we have adopted the mindset of the oppressor that says, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna take care of mine and I'm gonna judge everything else for not being what I want it to be. That is not engagement. I had a crack addicted mama and I didn't have no daddy. The village engaged. Nobody for a very long time called me by my name. They called me the college girl, a Sandra girl. They didn't call me by my name. They didn't need to know my name. They knew I came from the same bricks they did, but they knew I was going places. So the drug dealers didn't do no drugs around me because they knew I was going places. The village engaged. Might not like the engagement, but they engaged. See, our problem is we have lost sight of the village. We are very judgmental people, and we $2 away from poverty ourselves. Hurricane Katrina told a lot of us that we are not as well off as we thought. Because all of us were sharing those flood waters. It didn't matter what zip code you came from. It didn't matter how nice your house was. We all was waiting on somebody to come rescue us out of flood water. And yet it still, when the water subsided, I still went to my corner and pretended like I was better than the rest of them. That's the problem with the village. That's why the children picking up the guns. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Language is important. I heard a whole lot of language that I did not like when I was sitting back there. Because how you gonna help me when you calling me the worst? We gotta go get the worst of them. If I was sitting here as a parent and I had a child that needed help, I surely wouldn't send him to you because you already think very little of him. Do anybody in this room know when your prefrontal cortex is fully developed? Go ahead, Mr. Psychologist. Mental health. What is it? What is it? 25. But yet your government is trying to lock children up at 14. 25. They can't even rationalize between what they're doing and what the real consequence is. We have an attorney general right now. Y'all remember we voted down those proposed constitutional amendments? 66% of us said absolutely not. You know what your governor went and did? He went back to the drawing board and created another piece of legislation. So now your attorney general is saying, oh, we just gonna change the venue. We just gonna put them in adult court. But we're not gonna penalize them with adult charges. Do that make sense? No. 2 and 2 will always be 4. She's lying. And the thing is, the liar don't like to be called a liar. That's another thing we don't do enough of. When you hear somebody say something that you know holds no value, you're supposed to push back on it. Our children are more than just absent fathers. That's not the reason why they're killing. They're killing because they know we don't see no value in them. That's why they're killing. Let's be honest. They're killing because they know that we don't see any value in them. Somebody tell me what a bear would do. The bear natural habitat. What would it do if you put the bear in the forest and you starve it? You don't feed it. You don't care for it. And in its natural environment, if you knock down all the trees, what you think the bear gonna do? The bear gonna come into the city. Because when he can't get in the forest, he come into the city again. So I'm telling you right now, the children are killing because there's no opportunity. There are no resources. There's nothing for them to lean on. So what they've decided to do is, if you won't give it to me, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get it by any means necessary. That means knocking you over your head and taking it. That means laying you down and taking it. But what would happen if the thing I wanted to knock down, I saw it in myself? I bet I put the gun down, right? But we don't teach our children to love each other from a communal standpoint. We go by the Jordans and we teach our children with the Jordans to talk about the children who don't have the Jordans. And ain't none of us lucky enough to be wearing Jordans. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. So when we talk about why the children are killing, I always tell folks, you ain't gonna never solve a problem without talking to the people who are impacted by the violence. Right. I could talk to y'all all day. It ain't gonna solve not one word. Another thing we've done is we've become afraid to engage the children. We're afraid of them, and they know it. And they know it. Behind every pulled trigger, behind every swinging fist is a whole lot of pain that they can't tell you about because they don't trust you. They don't trust you. No, they don't. They don't even believe you when you say, oh, I love you. They don't believe you. You know why they don't believe you? Because when the governor started making them laws about them, ain't none of y'all was in the line saying, not my children. See, I've been fighting the governor since he was the attorney general. He know me. Because see, the laws that he's enacting right now, he started when he was the attorney general. He targeted New Orleans, that's where I'm from. He targeted East Baton Rouge, and he targeted Caddo Parish. Somebody tell me why. Whole bunch of black children. It is a war on our children, and we standing by acting like we don't know. Why y'all so concerned about the interracial war, the children killing the children, but you not talking about the governmental war that's going on against our children? Somebody answer the question, why? Because y'all don't let the government make y'all believe that it's only our kids killing our kids. Interracial violence happens in every ethnicity, every racial group. But it's sensationalized against black children because they need you to believe the lie too. So when they enact these policies, you can go vote for it. Oh my God, it's so criminal, it's so crazy. I'm telling you what it is. I live in New Orleans. There's a place in New Orleans called New Orleans East. It is the largest voting populace in our community. That means they're chronic voters. They go out all the time. And they vote. You can't win a citywide race in New Orleans without the East, right?
Can't do it.
So this is what they started doing. Oh, the East is so terrible. It's crime infested. You know why? Because they need y'all to believe it so you leave. But anywhere you see any other ethnicity, anything that's non-black, that could be Asians, that could be white, if they're investing in your community, don't go. Y'all need to start putting money together and start buying property yourself. Because the East is where you want to live. That's the highest level of black home ownership, always has been. But they're trying to convince the people of the East that the East ain't valuable. Just like they're trying to show you that your kids ain't valuable. So you can vote for this predatory law that's gonna lock your children up as young as 14. But they can't do it without your complicity. And how they get it, they make you believe that your children are not valuable. Oh, it's gun violence, but nobody talk about domestic terrorism. They walk into schools and shoot them up all the time.
All the time.
But nobody's talking about what we gonna do about the guns in the school. But you got metal detectors in the schools where ain't no school shootings happening there. Right. This is another thing I heard. Oh my God, I was like, wait, what? The very fabric of this country is needle and thread by racism. There is no entity that you can talk about where you don't address race because it's systemic. That means it's embedded in every system. Judicial, legislative, executive, every branch of this government is founded on racism. The 13th Amendment, what was it supposed to do? What was it supposed to do? Oh, they got a solution for that, slavery by another name. I'm going to incarcerate you. That's the only way I can effectively enslave you.
Legally.
Why are we playing like we don't know? The children are killing themselves and they're killing each other because there is a lack of love by the very community that they're supposed to believe in. Because if you loved our children, we wouldn't be looking for nobody on the outside to love our kids. The problems that we have are self-inflicted. They can be self-fixed. Do you believe it though?
Come on, now.
If you're a father, you're not just a father to your children. You are a man in this community. All the children belong to you. So how you gonna sit here and let somebody tell you what your problem is? I tell people in New Orleans all the time. See, New Orleans, the New Orleans I grew up in, we don't let nobody come in our house and rearrange our furniture. Y'all keep hearing them call New Orleans NOLA. That's a gentrified term. I don't believe it, and I'm from New Orleans. I'm not going to let you call me something other than my name. I'm from New Orleans. See, they do subtle things, and they make you buy into it. Before you know, you start calling New Orleans NOLA. Huh? And then you start seeing people walking dogs in Tremaine. Historically, black community that they ran a bridge through so they could disrupt black excellence, right? And now, since they disrupted the black excellence, they want to take the bridge down. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Racism is systemic. The problem with racism is black people have started to believe in the white supremacist oppression of their own people. That's why we're in the predicament that we're in. That's why we're in it. When you start operating like your oppressor, I'm telling you right now, the only story you need to hear is the story of Kyron Lacy, the young boy from Louisiana State University, number 2 on the football team. Car accident, I know y'all heard about it.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Car accident, right?
Right.
What you don't know is there were 2 people being sued civilly, but the only name you ever heard was Kyron Lacy. 2 people being charged civilly, but only 1 person being charged criminally. Ask yourself why. The NFL pulled that child's draft card off the allegation that he did something wrong. And he took his life the day before he went to court.
Right.
But you know who's responsible? We are. Because we created a lynch mob on social media. You had black mamas and daddies talking about that child like he was not worthy of our love and protection. Let me tell you something. You might not like this, but I don't care what children do. I don't care if they've done the worst of what you can think of. They are redeemable. They are still worthy of our love. I do not care what they've done. Because you see, it bothers my mind when I hear pastors and preachers and people who are supposed to be adjacent to God acting as if there's no redemption in children because they do the wrong thing, when they're 11 years away from their prefrontal cortex even being fully developed. How you gonna hold somebody responsible for a decision they made when they didn't understand the consequences? What? But you let your governor tell you he invested $39 million in a juvenile facility. Guess what they called it? The Renaissance. Don't that sound like a spot? Don't that sound like somewhere you can go kick your feet up? The Renaissance. Who they think they're playing with? 39 million. But you now telling the people you can't find no money to pay the teachers. Ain't that crazy? Yeah. You ain't got no money to pay the teachers, but you got 39 million to invest in a juvenile facility.
That's right.
I ain't gonna never tell you no lie. I might tell you a joke, but I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a bridge in New Orleans called the Crescent City Connection. I know y'all drove across it, right? It's all lit up real pretty. 22 million, and the bridge is in critical condition. Huh? Oh, because you dressed the bridge up for the visitors, right? For the Taylor Swift, for the Super Bowl. But for the people who actually make the engine of New Orleans run, you don't give us anything. Huh? The way you fix the juvenile crime, first you gotta fix our schools. I want anybody in this room, I challenge anybody in this room. And I'm telling you this because I'm a researcher. So when I'm asking you to look, first believe me, they go look. Right? I challenge anybody in this room to go find me a community where the schools work and the juvenile crime is off the chain. Show me one. Throw it out there. Anyone. So how can you not connect, how is there not a correlation between good schools and low juvenile crime? If you want to fix the crime, fix the schools. So see, when they come for your community, the first thing they do is come for your schools. Ask me how I know, because I'm from New Orleans. They came for our school system in 2005. While we were still trying to wade in the floodwaters of Katrina.
That's what they did.
That's what they did. Right? They got a conversation going on back there that might be more important than what I'm talking about. But listen here. When they want to destroy your community, the first thing they do is come for your schools. And they will do it voluntarily or involuntarily. Yeah. And then they repackage it up and make it sound good, right? Or we have these charter schools and you get to choose the school you want to go to, so you don't have to choose failure. And 70% of our children can't read on grade level in New Orleans. And we 20 years into this thing. We have schools with 4% proficiency in reading, but they throw in galas for 60 G's. Huh? So is the problem really the children? Is the problem with their kids?
No.
Huh? Well, where's the problem at then? Why are the children killing each other? Because the adults are doing what? There's a miseducation of children that is big business.
That's right.
Oh, it's a lot of money in the miseducation of our children. And I'm going to tell you why it's happening, because y'all, me, us, we're complicit. Because we let them people come up in here and tell us how to educate our kids. And 20 years later, they still can't read. And we are billions of dollars in it. Huh? Have you ever asked yourself, why the Walton Foundation and Bloomberg, why do they care about public education?
The money.
Their children don't go to public schools.
No.
Why they care? Because if they get the mind of our children, everything else gonna fall in line. Why are the children killing each other? Why don't the children trust you? Why don't the kids feel safe with you? Huh?
Well, they don't lie.
Why? Why? Why do y'all let them push the fallacy that black men are not fathers? Look at the numbers. It's a lie. Why? Why do we allow that? Nobody will ever sit in a room with me and say things that I know are not true, and I'm not going to address them. You don't get to perpetrate a fraud on this community in my earshot, and I'm not going to correct you. Black men are fathers. Black men are fathers. Say it to yourself. Black men are fathers. Do not believe in the fallacy. Because don't nobody ask why Black Dylan Roof daddy was. You remember Dylan Roof? Yeah. What was his name? Anybody ask? Because nobody cares. It's only about our babies when they want to ask those sorts of questions.
Yes, we're back here at Real Talk TV. I hope you enjoyed that clip, and if you want more information about the whole seminar, the whole forum, you can contact the SOX organization. I'm gonna put up on the website how to contact them. They put on the forum, excellent forum, some notables, very, great to see Brother Darren Muhammad of the Community Defender, which I'm the director, and Sister Khadijah is the producer. Sister, we had so many enlightenment. One of the things I hope you got out of talking to this sister, she's not prepared to throw the youth under the bus. She's not prepared to, because some had made some statements in the conference and she took issue with it. I think we got a caller right now. Let's accept this caller right quick. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Brother Jay, that was a powerful presentation. Dr. White, she just wiped the floor with the truth. Hello, Brother?
Yes, I can hear you, sister. Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes, indeed. That was Dr. Ashante Wyatt. That was our keynote speaker for the SOX program that we had put on this past weekend at Girard Park.
Right.
And we had so many people that were so impressed with talking the truth to our young people and to our adults, Brother J. And I wanted to let you know that SOX stands for Saving Our Communities and Kids Successfully.
Right.
And Commander Carmouche, First Commander Carmouche, First Commander Mr. Melville, Brother Andre, Mr. Spriggs, Miss Sheila, Miss Janice and Janice, and Archbishop John. Archbishop John was there. He spoke. They had a roundtable discussion right before the keynote speaker came on. And she was just, so much you could actually say about how good this presentation was. And we had so many good vendors that was out there, Brother Jay. And all we're trying to do is like end the cycle, stopping gun violence, and it's a community. Yes, my child might not be involved in none of it. Well, no, my child might not be. But yes, indeed, it takes a community to raise. It's just not your children, Brother J. It's just not Shaheed's children. It's all of our children from all aspects of Louisiana. And I love the fact that she mentioned how our black men are fathers. Don't let nobody just tell you that they not no fault. Our black men are fathers, but our black men, they have to also realize that they got to go ahead and adopt or father our other kids that don't have their fathers with them.
Yes, sister. And what do you think the public got out of it as far as the speakers?
Well, one thing that was said, I can't remember exactly who it was that had mentioned, but I mean, our heart, our mind is in the right place. Just sometimes we just need to be directed in the right avenue. We had a good brother that mentioned, he's going to the school, asking them to send the worst of the worst. And what she was mentioning is that there's no such thing as the worst of the worst. All of these kids are our warriors, our babies, and that we have to raise them. You don't let no other people come and tell you, oh well, there's no hope for this child, because they're building prisons as we speak.
And Khadijah,
fourth graders. I'm listening.
And Khadijah, to be fair about one of the speakers who said that, or those words, I think he meant, because I know he's a good brother, right? And you know he's a good brother.
Yeah,
I think he meant that, I think he meant something else. I think he meant that the people who have more severe problems, they want to deal with first and help them out. I think that's where he was going with it. And he just didn't use his words in a manner that people would understand. You wasn't throwing everybody under the bus. And I think the brother's a good brother, because he wouldn't be doing the things he's doing,
Yes, I know that. It gives, and that's why I was saying that when she clarified things, she helped you to understand. Don't use the same language that they use. We got to be better than that.
Yes.
They all of our children.
Yes. And sister, but that's just not only the forum you guys put on your post again. It was a organization out of Baton Rouge, the Nation of Islam. So you got two separate, different entities, but all have a connection putting on these forums. And one of the things I was discussing with someone from St. Mary Parish, to bring the forum to St. Mary Parish, bring it back to New Iberia, do it differently. Have it again in Lafayette, and have it in Opelousas, and let's all form a connection. I think that would be great. And it's not for the sake of people like us more so. It's for the children. It's for the youth. Because there was a funeral in New Iberia Parish, where a 14-year-old was buried. The outpouring of the people who attended the services was tremendous. Now, why wait till something like this happens and we come together briefly and we grieve and then we move on? We should be proactive. We should take a lesson from that 14-year-old death and make it positive and change it for everybody else, every other 14-year-old. Because, I was with some youth Saturday, and they were some polite young men. So I know that our youth want to do better. It's just that they don't have the guidance, and the community and the culture seems uncaring in these senses. Sister Khadijah, you still there? Okay. Seems like we lost her. Call back, Sister Khadijah. Again, I want to go to another clip. After I get this clip down, I want to go to another clip of the forum we had in Baton Rouge 2 weeks earlier with the Nation of Islam and others in Baton Rouge, where former Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul and a dynamic young attorney by Ryan K. Thompson, who actually helped litigate the issue with the Brave Cave, where law enforcement were arresting people and taking them to an undisclosed location and torturing them. So Ryan K. Thompson was the attorney on that case. I interviewed him on the Open Line Radio Show on 88.3 FM. I want to bring a exchange between both of them at the forum, which is somewhat dynamic. That we have to have those type of serious dialogues in our community. Let's see if I could bring it up right quick, and we're gonna run it. Okay.
All right, Chief Paul.
All right, y'all can hear me, right? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna be quick on that. One of the challenges we have is, look, our youth has been miseducated, right? And we have to re-educate. You know, one of the challenges from a law enforcement perspective when you ask me about gangs, and I've been chastised and talked to about saying that we had gangs in the city. Let me tell you one thing important. My father was at a community event. He said, I got a problem when you say gangs. I said, why? He said, because that group is a neighborhood group. And my son associates, my fear is when you call them gangs, that when you hand down some RICO indictment, that my baby, who I know is a good kid, on the right track, is going to somehow get tied into that. That's right. And I said, well, tell me what language works. He said, call them neighborhood groups. And so I know the art of communication, if I lose you at gang, then I'm never going to get the message across. So I began to say groups, and let's talk about this. But it's a challenge when they call themselves gangs. When they say things like gang, gang. When they identify with tattoos in neighborhoods. But I do understand that. But it all goes down to that thing we talked about, that self-love. What frustrates me as a chief or as a law enforcement leader for 33 years is the lie that our babies have been believing. See this stop snitching? We should all have t-shirts that say stop snitching, just tell the truth. Because it is a lie that was made by criminals so they can continue to be criminals. If he and I were involved in criminal behavior and he get caught and tell me that's what rap used to be. Or in the gangs or the organized crime, sleeping with the fishes, how they used to address those issues. We got good kids believing a lie. We got good neighbors believing a lie. Look, I get the fear in the coming forward and saying things. That's why we have him. That's why we have her. Because we can't say that we don't have outlets to get that information. So here's a fact. When we look at homicide shootings in the city of Baton Rouge, and we start unpacking and investigating, you know what we learn? That in many of these shootings, the perpetrator or the suspect had knowledge that that shooting was going to occur. Somebody in their inner circle. Who's the inner circle? Those are friends, those are relatives. Somebody knew. But there was a fear to pick up the phone and call law enforcement. And I get that. And I can show you example after example after example after example. And I also know that when we have people on the ground working, we have to support those systems so that when they're scared to call us, they can pick up the phone when two people are beefing. When we know that a situation is escalating. And we do that by deprogramming the lie that our kids and our neighbors were told. Good kids are supposed to tell. Good neighbors are supposed to tell. And we have too many outlets in this community right now. I don't care if it's domestic violence. You talk to the brother or somebody knew what that woman was going through. But nobody picked up the phone and said, hey, not just give her help, but give him some help too. Too many incidents. We gotta stop this lie called stop snitching in our community, y'all. It's killing us.
Thank you, Chief Paul. Terry Thompson. 30 seconds.
You know I love you. True. I love you to death. But I disagree with you on that. We don't talk about the genesis of snitching and where it came from, slavery. Because you wouldn't tell them the person who stole a bag of eggs. You wouldn't tell them the person who ran away. You didn't snitch on that individual because master was interrogating you and taking you over. And so we're not going to talk about where this thing, this snitch strategy came from. It didn't come from gangs. It came from our families and our history in this country of distrust of law enforcement in the system. Call it what it is. No, you have 30 seconds.
I said,
I'm going to explain my time. I didn't cut you off.
I'm not saying call law enforcement. Did I not say that? I said we got community members you can call. So let me take this.
So where does that information go?
They don't give it to us. They stop the shooting. That's how that 47% came.
Okay.
So let's be clear on that. What I'm saying is that there are institutions where I understand there's a trust issue. But when I'm saying that mama knows that her son is being threatened, and somebody's threatening to kill him, pick the phone up and call him so they can go deal with it.
How you doing, good brother? Hold on, Brother Wallace. I'm coming to you. How you doing, Brother Wallace?
Oh, good morning to you, Brother Jay.
Hey, brother, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now I could hear you.
Okay, good, good. Good morning, Brother Jay. As always,
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
have to
sir.
tell you-
So you was at the forum, right, brother?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, Brother Jay.
Yeah, you have a
on
delay?
Saturday- Yes, sir. On Saturday, they had a very good forum, you know,
Yes.
because the people there wanted and had, how you could say that, they was looking out for our kids' future, you know, and if we don't look out for our kids' future, shame on us. But again, you know, Brother Jay, we all know it all comes out in systemic racism,
Yes.
you know, and the racism, they use money against our kids. They not giving them proper education. They're not willing to make our schools better, you know, for our kids to get a better education. We're not willing to pay our teachers the amount of money that they need to be paid to educate our kids, because we don't understand, you know, whenever we need something, they never could find the monies. You know, when they do give us money, they don't give us the money that we need. They give us the money that they want us to have, because they know it's hard to be successful without money to educate our kids, you know? And those are the things that we have to look out for, Brother Jay, how to get the monies. You know, everybody had an excellent program on Saturday.
Yes.
They said the right words. Everything was coming out just right. But when it came down to the money, just like our keynote speaker said, when it comes down to the money, they do not want to invest in our kids and our kids' education. We talk about educating our kids ourselves, you know, because we know the education system, you know. But the thing of it is, if
Yeah, Miss, let me put you on hold, caller, and I'm gonna flip it. All right.
Okay.
We got one
going
call on
nowhere.
hold. Go ahead, Brother Wallace. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get this line together one day.
yes, sir,
Yes.
you're doing a good job.
Yes. Yes. And I think we have a call on the line also. Caller, welcome to Real Talk TV.
Hello. Yes, Brother Jay?
Yeah, that's Brother Jay, and you're on the line with Brother Wallace. So I really enjoyed seeing all the good people of Lafayette turn out for this conference. And Brother Wallace was talking about his experience. And I think Brother Wallace want to say a couple more words, and then we can go to Miss Janice. Brother Wallace?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You know, Brother Jay, I think I done said all that I needed to say.
Uh-huh.
And I want to give everybody a chance to say and give their viewpoint on Saturday's meeting at Girard Park. So I was grateful for you for spending it. Now we're getting some feedback on it to let those that didn't make it see and hear. Thank you, Brother Jay. You know, be safe.
All right, now we can go to our other caller, Miss Janice. You participated in the conference. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So I know you got something to say. It's been a long time hearing you
Yes.
speak. Tell us how you feel.
Well, first, I want to compliment you for being there to capture all of this powerful information that we need to disseminate to the community. So I thank you for that, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But as far as the conference goes, it was just so powerful to hear Dr. Wyatt speak truth.
Yes.
And once we continue to walk that path of truth, then we will see the results we're looking for. But we have to be able to come in one accord and call things the way it is, because truth is eternal and it doesn't change. So once we stand on that and come full force with what it is that we need to do, then we can see progress taking place.
Yeah, and I think acknowledging there's a problem in our community without throwing people under the bus is the main thing that we have to, accept. It's a complicated issue. It's like all things in our community is complicated, but we could simplify it by just having unity. Unity cures everything. I know the forum, you participated in one in Baton Rouge. I mean, you attended one in Baton Rouge, one in Lafayette. And I say this should be a universal thing, an ongoing thing. We got to look at it as a public health issue. Not only it's a mental health issue, it's so many different things. It's a cultural issue too. One of the good friends of ours and yours is Brother Takuna El Shabazz, and he had laid the blueprint to some of the things in our area. Some of the causes, and here we go with the blame game, niggas say, is the cultural perception of things, who you are. And that's one of the main causes of these things in the problem, because you don't just have these young 13, 14-year-olds wilding out and acting crazy for no reason at all. You have adults, and they see adults doing the same thing, so they only mimicking what the adults. I'm prepared to say it's my fault. Some people won't say it's their fault because they live up on a big mansion on the hill type situation, and they believe everything is insulated from them. So, and that's just my feelings on that, Ms. Janice.
Some words of Brother Takuna. A child, before his death, he made an apology to all young kids or people under the age of 35 for us as the elders, putting the blame on them for the destruction in our community. They haven't lived long enough to cause all this destruction. So until we can take accountability for our role of doing or our not doing, that's the dilemma we'll be in, because we have not yet felt the need to say, we're accountable for this. Take accountability for what we did or what we didn't do to help our children. Okay, our children don't know their history. They're not being taught of it in the schools. As a matter of fact, schools is like not the place to me that I would want to send my child to at this time. In schools that's not teaching anything relevant or the truth to our children. So they have control of our children in that system as well. That's not fair.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
That's my
Go ahead. Go ahead. And you were saying you were closing?
So thank you for doing what you do. And I'll support you. Hello?
Hello? Okay. All right. People, just give me time to get this phone line together. It's a new system we put in specifically for Real Talk TV. It's an automated software. I could brag on that. But again, so much going on in our community that we have to identify. We have to deal with it. This show sometimes don't necessarily just deal with solutions. We like to point things out that a lot of people don't know about. I want to go back to the clip with Chief Murphy Paul, former police chief of the Baton Rouge Police Department, and Attorney Ryan K. Thompson, who defended the people who were tortured in the Brave Cave, and they went at it in exchange. And I want the community to see this, and maybe is this what we need in order to solve some of our issues on our, let's say, mostly on our communities, in our communities concerning gun violence. So let me bring it back on.
That is, I never said call law enforcement.
Long we clear it up.
So that's what I'm talking about. That is a lie, because I'm telling you, I can give you example after example after example after example after example where mama found a gun. Mama found a gun in her baby's room and picked up the phone and said, what I do? I said, you know what? You can call somebody in the community and come pick it up with no questions asked. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but five.
No, but here's the question.
You can hear about it.
No, here's the question. Is that when the gun is found in our house, there's criminal activity associated with it. But when the gun is found in the senator's house, ain't nobody calling nobody. Ain't nobody turning no guns in, no turning the
Let's talk facts.
No. Let's talk facts. No. I gave you 30 on my shirt. Let's talk facts. Let's talk facts. Let's talk facts. What we're talking about is 2 or 3 more people associated with criminal activity.
We gotta get to the crowd.
We're not policing other groups the same way. We can go down to LSU right now with a frat road, find guns, we can find marijuana, we can find cocaine, and we're not doing the same policing. That's what I'm talking about. So to that point, nobody's asking this question. That I had the unique perspective of leaving Birmingham, Alabama at the time that GDs and folks came in as the Crips and Bloods. I left there with the Inglewood, which was the gang capital of the world, right? No one asks yourself, how does kids, Tukey, Randy Washington, how do they leave YA at 15 and 16 and all of a sudden create a hierarchy that resembles the military structure? No one asks the question, how is it that these gangs, Pyros, Bloods, and Crips, wear the same colors as the Democratic and the Republicans? No one asks the question, how does cocaine get from Iran into our neighborhoods? No one asks that question. No one is asking the critical questions of why. So we're talking about labeling gangs, and let me give you an instance. Right now in Baton Rouge, we had a young kid who supposedly runs with the Bleeder gang, went into a local school to give something back. And then we had the criminalization of that young man, but nobody tells you, they can tell you, the majority of individuals associated with the Bleeder gang are all family. They're all blood. They're all cousins. But no one ever puts that narrative out there about those young children. You know how I know them? Because I was the first one to run to them when they burned down buildings and told them they was wrong for doing that during George Floyd. Am I lying? I was the first one to run up in the federal court to represent those kids. I'm still mentoring those kids. And I said, explain to me why you're identifying yourself with something that came out of LA. He said, brother, we're not. That's misconception. That's propaganda. So we're talking about solving the problem. Again, I'm going back to what MLK said. We come to the state capitol to get our check. Don't give us criminality. Don't give us more policing. Don't give me more propaganda if you're not going to do the same thing.
Let me clarify this. This is important. What I was preaching was community violence intervention. That's what I am talking about, supporting these programs. Support community violence intervention. I'm telling you, it works. It really works. And let me tell you how I know it works. Every time I speak to a group of kids, every school, and I didn't tell a lot of them, I ask this question: how many of you on social media? About 75-80% of their hands go up. And then I say, how many of you seen somebody in your community, your age, or in school with a gun on social media? Their hands stay up. And then I ask a follow-up question: how many of you told a concerned adult, a counselor, somebody? I didn't ask them if they called law enforcement, and their hands go down. And I say, why did you tell somebody? And they say, because I'm not a snitch. So what I say, when you tell your mama, you're not snitching. When you tell a counselor, it's not snitching. When you tell your pastor, it's not snitching. When you tell somebody who can go and try to de-escalate that situation to prevent that shooting, it is not snitching. And what I'm asking is the community, we need to change how our babies, how our neighbors are seeing that. That's what I'm suggesting.
They don't just say they got the guns in school. So clearly somebody told them.
We gotta move. Gotta go to Brother Wright. And y'all, I let the debate go because I wanted y'all to see conflict resolution. A heated conversation, and guess what? Ain't nobody gonna get shot outside.
Yeah, we're back. That was a heated exchange, but all done in brotherly love with Attorney Ryan K. Thompson and former Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul. Now, if you remember who Murphy Paul was, and I and Brother Wallace, we talked about that, and Sister Khadijah, we talked about that. Former Police Chief Murphy Paul was the Baton Rouge Police Chief at the time of so many different incidents going on, and he got fed up, and he actually helped expose what some of these rogue officers within the Baton Rouge PD was doing. And for that, he was pressured to, and I don't have the whole story, but he was pressured, seemed like he was pressured to resign. So what happened in Lafayette with the chief, the former chief, a black police chief that they tried to employ in Baton Rouge, and he came down, and I want to support, and Brother Wallace supported him, Sister Khadijah supported him, and it was through Brother Wallace's suggestion that the chief was employed. And what happened? Police union, civil service board came against him, and the political parties, I would like to say the MAGA people in the background, the ones who always chirping in people's ear about the MAGA movement, they brought pressure. So you see, you have a similar situation with two police chiefs, black police chiefs who were progressive in a policing situation, were forced out. And this is the norm. When they say they want to be fair, they want to say they want to believe in the Constitution, they're not. They're lying to you. You know how I know they're lying? Their lips are moving, like always. So pay attention to that, and we appreciate Police Chief Murphy Paul being candidate. We appreciate former attorney, not former attorney, Attorney Ryan K. Thompson coming forward and speaking his mind on it, and all those who participated in the forum. We also want to salute, like always, Brother Darrell Mahound of the Community Defender. A lot of the things they were saying, Brother Darrell was saying that 10 years ago. A lot of things they were saying, and even in the forum in Lafayette, Brother Takuna El Shabazz was saying, Sister Khadijah was saying. So many of the activists has been saying these things that are happening. So people just pay attention to what is going on. So I'm want to bring up another clip, or no, just say an issue. An issue I got. Well, no, let's hear this other clip from a local, another good brother who I think his intentions always in good faith, because he want to help the community. And let's see, there he is, Brother Corey Livia, and let's hear what Brother Corey has to say.
I'm gonna work my way around the room. This brother here had his hand up first, so
first off, to somebody's point, and I just want to clarify that sometimes not everybody understands the words that we use. We have to use general terms so that more of our people can gravitate towards what we're saying. To simplify, the community needs to communicate. Period. If the community is not communicating, somebody's going to fall by the wayside. Number two, how do we solve it? Make it personal. There's enough people in this room to impact the violent crime numbers in this city. But you have to make it personal. Yeah. You can't say, I'm gonna wait on somebody else to do it. If you see something, do something. Every day you drive by or pass by somebody in trouble, stop and do something. Make it personal. Get involved. If you don't, nobody else will. Why can you expect somebody to do something and you not doing nothing yourself? All right? Yes, sir. One more point. I'm sorry, I'm getting a cold here. Now, another thing. We don't know, too many of us don't understand our power. This country is ours.
That's right.
This is our land, our government. There's nothing that white people created on their own. We gave it to them. They used it against us, but it's still ours. And if we don't take it back, they're going to continue to do what they're doing. Period.
it's ours, and we have the genius not only to take it back, but to control it and operate it in a better way. And if you don't believe that, you're part of the problem. Now, last thing. What is the profile of a shooter? That question was never asked. Look around you. Look to your left. Look to your right. That's the profile of a shooter. I was in the military. I went to Iraq 3 times. You don't know who anybody is a shooter. Right? So let's get rid of these profiles. A profile means a shadow against a wall with no discerning features. Let's get rid of the profile. You can't profile. Everyone that has emotions and that loves somebody, you are a shooter. If put in the right situation, you're going to defend yourself or you're going to kill and save somebody else. So let's get rid of this profiling thing and realize that not just the people that look like they're in trouble are in trouble. We all are in this together. Right? And I'm sorry, I thought that was the last point. Real quick, I'm trying to keep this 15 seconds. But I've been waiting for 2 hours to say this. Right? Now, last thing. What does an all-powerful child of God that is born a warrior, what does that person do without guidance? They destroy everything around them. So remember who you're talking to when you're talking to some of these young men and women. These are warriors born, and they need to fight a war and don't know who their ops are, and they don't have any guidance. So remember who you're talking to, because I was one of them. Love you.
It is customary in the African tradition that before we address the community that we give permission to one of our elders. I'm 65. Anybody over 65? Oh, Brother Rashid, he's right there. Oh, Brother Rashid, can you give me permission? 75. This has been outstanding for us. We want to thank y'all for putting this on. We traveled from Opelousas, New Iberia, Lafayette, Generate to come here because we are also putting on Post 504. We're putting on Stop the Violence. Stop the Violence, and we would like to invite you all to it. I wanted to mention that one of our biggest problems too in the state of Louisiana, if you notice right here. Oh, and Brother Darrell, I want to thank you for inviting us. We have a list of all of the sheriffs in the state of Louisiana. You have 61.
Well, it's one thing you can always count on is for the twice impeached, racist, criminally convicted felon-in-chief to do all he can to attack black people. So last night, Chief Dumbass issued 2 executive orders. This is the first executive order, making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful. Now, remember, they've already screwed us when it came to Black Lives Matter Plaza. Okay, they've already screwed us. In fact, I mean, just so you understand, you know, in terms of what these folks have done, is just, I mean, it's just an abomination what they've done. Actually, come back to me. I'm gonna scroll in a second. What they've done is abomination. You know, I was outside. I'm gonna do this here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to. Just so y'all know, this is what the latest is, and how they've just completely chopped up and just messed up 16th Street, which actually leads to the White House. You know, Republicans forced the District of Columbia to spend almost $1 million tearing up the streets because they did not like Black Lives Matter being on the street. It was a monument that was created. And so as a result, I shot these photos yesterday. Give me a second. I'm connecting on my iPad so you can see what it looks like. And again, these so-called fiscal conservatives, let me say it again, so-called fiscal conservatives demanded that Washington, D.C. do this. This is what it looks like right now. That right there, it's going to take, so that it wasn't just painted, they literally built it. Into the ground. So they sat there, and that's it right there. And just so you understand, this is the road that leads to the White House. If I zoom in, you will see that is the White House right there. And so these folks, these Republicans, they force the district, threaten to withhold transportation money from the district if they did not follow their orders. They made them do this. They did not care. They don't care. They didn't ask the people of Washington, D.C. It does not matter for them. Hey, we control Congress, so therefore we control your purse strings. So you know what? We gonna make y'all do whatever.
Yeah, I want to come back online, and I had a bit of a technical in the background. My camera went dead. It's a new camera I have. I do a show on 88.3 called The People's Tech, and I'm always exploring new technology advances. And I have what you call a robot camera, iSbot. It just went to sleep on me, so I was at a loss to why it went. So I was doing some technical stuff, and so I ran the Roland Martin clip. But I wanted the previous caller to call back. I think that's Mr. Brother Ravers Martinez. Call back, caller, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to you. I apologize. It's great to hear your voice, and it would be great to hear your voice on Real Talk TV. But please call back. Apologize again. I had some technical glitches. It never fails when you're doing these live shows when you're a one-man band. Remember, one-man band controlling some different inputs on this show. We have so much stuff going on. Maybe I could place a call to him and call him back and put him on the line. Let's see if a brother want to talk. So much is going on again in our community. So much is going on. Let's see if we can get him on the line. It's very important that we hear from leaders in the community. Hello, brother.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Great to hear from you. Long time no hear from.
I am doing good. I just saw your show and wanted to come on and comment if I could. I definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
As to the issue, I want to just spend a little time with you this morning. I apologize first to you and your viewers for actually missing the wonderful presentation and event you had this past Saturday that you guys were discussing and reviewing. Honestly, if I had known about that event, I would have made it a priority to be there. As someone, like I said, that has looked at this issue and tried to be a voice in our community, in our local Lafayette community, regarding gun violence and our need to really try to be more of a voice and be active. So for me, again, I apologize for not being there, but like I stated, this issue is one that's very serious. I can tell you that we have very little support in our local community from our elected officials on tackling this issue or making it a priority. The efforts that I've made and continues to make have always tried to include them and put them in the forefront and get them to speak out and to be a voice and be leaders on this issue. And that has proven to be very difficult to actually do. That's from, me doing public appeals, appealing to not only our elected officials, but also, our police, right, and our religious leaders, and others in our community, because this affects all of us. I don't think now one of us have not been touched by gun violence. I don't think now one of us can say that we don't know a kid that has suffered and families that are suffering, grieving mothers that are continuously bearing their children. When are we going to really take a real concerted stand for our kids and our future. You know, it's hard to even look at going to any public events nowadays with some threat of violence looming around the community. And a lot of this is orchestrated, and a lot of it has to do with the policies and the laws that are being enacted to put guns into the hands of children, and also, you know, to criminalize our children at a younger rate, you know, so we can go back to, you know, not having rights at all, which is codified in the Constitution of basically being a slave if you're a convict, if you're literally in jail. And so they'll rather see us there than to educate us or to help us grow in other ways within our community. So, you know, I want to publicly ask anybody that's, you know, passionate about children, passionate about our community, to stand with you and stand with others that are really fighting in this area to keep ringing the alarm, to keep ringing the bell until these folks get it. Because I can tell you that the business of incarceration does not want to see this change. They do not want us to tackle this issue as a community, as mothers, as fathers, as grandfathers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles. They don't want to see us tackle this because, honestly, we're the only ones that can do it. We know we need resources in our community beyond incarceration. I speak to that literally just last week. I spoke to that issue in regards to the jail and how we need other resources like mental health resources. We need to tackle the systemic issues surrounding gun violence that lead to that, because that's just a symptom of what's really happening to our people, which is lack of opportunity, lack of jobs, poor housing conditions, and really not a hope for the future or a real leadership to look up to say, hey, every day they know certain people are really out there fighting for them. So for me, it's about us being able to provide context, shows like yourself, Community Matters, and the others, you know, that are on the ground floor, providing real context of what's really happened. So I know I said a lot, but I'm really passionate about what's going on. Gun violence has affected my own family.
And good brother, I'd like to ask you this. I hope we could get the organization that you're a part of to commit to making this an ongoing thing where we could do some, not only in the city of Lafayette. I would just inquire because of the clip we've been showing over the weekend about doing something in St. Mary Parish, doing something in Opelousas, and not necessarily under one umbrella, but bringing everybody together, all the different groups and organizations, and even the pastors, they have large resources to deal with those things. So hopefully let that be a start, and I hope your group could be one of the spearheaders of those situations in South Louisiana.
No, absolutely. I'll be glad to help in any way. And I've never not accepted any invitation to work with anybody on this issue or speak on this issue in anywhere. I've done that in Iberia Parish, in St. Martin Parish, in Lafayette Parish, because this issue is very broad. It's covering all our communities and our small rural communities. We're all suffering from this. And so, absolutely, we need a conservative effort with all forms of our community. And like you said, we need to get that within, because these outside entities, a lot of them, they're formed to be money drivers, or they're very big on operation costs and not really getting the needs met for the community that really needs the resources. So I'm committed to helping in any way I can through the NAACP, through my own nonprofit, Impact Louisiana for All, through my businesses, or just me as a person. Like I those things mean nothing to me if we're not getting things done. So regardless of the organization, regardless of the group, I think that if people are really caring and concerned about this issue, that we can deal with it. There's resources, there's really allies, like you stated, around the country, within our own state, that we can partner with and really be stronger in our own community, because we're suffering, and I don't see, like I said before, a lot of our elected leadership really taking a stand and bringing resources or making this a priority to where our people can get the information they need so we can be whole.
Yes, sir. And again, I thank you, brother, for one-man band, but definitely want to invite you to call in and also be a guest on the Community Matters show, which I'm a director of, and brother Wallace Senegal, good friend of yours, always been in the community. Please give him a consideration. Hello. Okay. I think he's gone. Okay, people. Getting back to what we were talking about. We got brother Roland Martin on deck, but I want to bring up this other clip. I think this is a Baton Rouge school board member. A Baton Rouge school board member who I think his name is Darius, brother Darius. He was at the forum, and he has been making some great points, and he has been speaking in terms of what the so-called leadership in political in the political climate of Louisiana, the governor, what he should be doing. And so I'm gonna bring up this clip right here, and I think that's a clip that needs to be played on our local channel. Also, let me bring it on right quick. Let's see. There you go, right here. And we're going to get in.
Governor Landry, I need you to make this make sense. A few months ago, you said to the citizens of Louisiana that our state is broke, you're trying to stabilize our state's budget, and you're implementing statewide hiring freezes for certain positions. Yet you find $200 million to reopen condemned juvenile jails, which, by the way, they were condemned and closed due to severe juvenile abuse. And if that was not a slap in the face to every single Louisiana across the state, House Bill 445 looks to reopen all juvenile records for every single kid across this state. Why is this a problem? I'll tell you why. Because just last year during the 2024 crime session, you approved a bill that put guns in the hands of 18-year-olds, and you allowed them to conceal carry. Since that time, we've found more guns inside of Louisiana schools than we ever have before. You say you want to end crime, you say you want to reduce crime. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Now let's talk about our teachers. Currently, our teachers make less than the national and regional average, yet they're being held hostage due to the 4 amendments failing last month. It wasn't just Democrats that made those bills fail, or those amendments fail. It was Republicans, independents, and Democrats alike who came together with organizations from all across the state who said, we will not allow you to seize control over things that govern our lives. Make it make sense, Governor. Do right, be better. Louisiana's watching.
Yes, there you go. You heard from a school board member, Darius, who serves on the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. Very dynamic brother. Right now, they were trying to hem him up and, put in some type of negative situation that he done something negative concerning a relative of his that got employed by the East Baton Rouge School Board. They're always using those little minor things to go after our leadership, especially when there's some progressive leadership. Again, Brother Keith was supposed to come on and be my co-host this morning. I'm glad we heard from Brother Wallace Senegal. You could see him on Community Matters every Friday from 10 to 12 o'clock. A 2-hour show, much like this show, from 9:30 to 11:30. Salute AOC Community Media. If you got a community media project, please consider becoming a member of AOC and go ahead and put on your whatever programs or issues that you have in the community. Take advantage of that. I want to bring up some images and some of the things I want to talk about that's that we'll talk about earlier concerning this governor right here. He's facing ethics charges. He pushes to overhaul the investigation process. It's so funny because that's what the playbook from the National MAGA crowd is doing too. They want to hide things in plain sight. They want you to make you believe something that is false, and switch the narrative, such as saying that wokeness and whatever the hell wokeness mean to them is a good thing, and that's to me wokeness meaning a black person who. Black people started this whole saying back in the day about I'm woke, I'm awakened to you, I'm all woke, man, and so they want to twist it because it's a black situation that came about historically. So they want to say wokeness is bad. Well, black folks have to flip the narrative right back at them. When you say you're anti-woke, that means you what? You anti-blackness. So if you anti-woke and you anti-blackness, you're not a friend of mine. And if you are the mayor president, who's a Republican, who the Republican Party in Louisiana supports the MAGA movement, and the MAGA movement is erasing black history, then you are not a friend of the black community. If you got to be able to ask the mayor president, do you support the greater MAGA movement and all of their policies and procedures against black folks? So if you anti-woke, mayor president, you anti-black. Black folks got to look at it in simple terms like that. Black folks have to do just like them. They speak in simplified terms. The Republican, the MAGA movement speak in simplified terms against the community. They tell you you are bad. We got to tell them you are a racist, you are evil. Racism is evil towards when it applied to the person to hurt them. Now, you could go and live in your shell over here, and I could go live in my shell, but when you take something on a public realm and you apply it to me, then you become my enemy. If you paying taxes for your schools and they got black history programs, or you got the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C., where they are taking things out of it concerning black folks, then you are becoming the enemy. You are becoming the enemy of black folks. So we have to be able to speak in those terms the way they speak to us. And I want to bring on this clip where we take our phone calls concerning let's see, we got it right here. We got it right here where Roland was speaking. Well, Roland, we had some questions. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We'll go back to it.
Well, it's one thing you can always count on is for the twice impeached, racist, criminally convicted felon in chief to do all he can to attack black people. So last night, Chief Dumbass issued 2 executive orders. This is the first executive order, making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful. Now, remember, they've already screwed us when it came to Black Lives Matter Plaza. Okay, they've already screwed us. In fact, I mean, just so you understand, in terms of what these folks have done, is just, it's just an abomination what they've done. Actually, come back to me. I'm gonna scroll in a second. What they've done is abomination. I was outside. I'm gonna do this here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to. Just so y'all know, this is what the latest is, and how they've just completely chopped up and just messed up 16th Street, which actually leads to the White House. Republicans forced the District of Columbia to spend almost $1 million tearing up the streets because they did not like Black Lives Matter being on the street. It was a monument that was created. And so as a result, I shot these photos yesterday. Give me a second. I'm connecting on my iPad so you can see what it looks like. And again, these so-called fiscal conservatives, let me say it again. So-called fiscal conservatives demanded that Washington, D.C. do this. This is what it looks like right now. That right there, it's going to take, so that it wasn't just painted. They literally built it. They literally built it, into the ground. So they sat there, and that's it right there. And just so you understand, this is the road that leads to the White House. If I zoom in, you will see that is the White House right there. And so these folks, these Republicans, they force the district, threaten to withhold transportation money from the district if they did not follow their orders. They made them do this. They did not care. They don't care. They didn't ask the people of Washington, D.C. It does not matter for them. Hey, we control Congress, so therefore we control your purse strings. So you know what? We gonna make y'all do whatever we want y'all to do. I also shot some video. Give me 1 second. I want to show that to y'all as well, because and it's just a damn shame how these people are operating, and so they want to totally control Washington, D.C. They want to force the mayor of D.C., force the city council to be on bended knee to whatever they want. This is the video that I shot of them also working on the street, tearing it up. So that's what's going on here in the nation's capital. And so here's what Trump did, y'all. So you see right here, he says, let's see here, blah, blah, blah. He wants to talk about how it needs to be clean and well kept. So you see right here, fighting crime. What's going to happen right here? My administration shall work closely with local officials to share information, develop joint priorities, maximize resources to make the District of Columbia safe. And so he's listing all these departments, creating these task force as well. You see right here, task force shall coordinate to ensure effective federal participation in the following tasks: directing maximum enforcement of federal immigration law, redirecting available federal, state, and local law enforcement resources to apprehend and deport illegal aliens, monitor the District of Columbia's sanctuary city status and compliance, provide assistance to facilitate the prompt and complete accreditation of the DC Forensic Crime Laboratory. Also, in collaboration with his leadership and union, providing MPD with assistance to facilitate the recruitment, retention, and capabilities of its police officers. And it goes on and on and on. And so you see deploying a more robust federal law enforcement presence and coordinating with local law enforcement to facilitate the deployment of a more robust law enforcement. They just repeat shit they don't even read executive orders. They just repeat stuff. Okay, so you look at all the different parks or whatever, then you see here, the Secretary of the Interior is going to make the District of Columbia beautiful. And so blah, blah, remove graffiti from commonly visited areas, blah, 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 blah.
So just to set an example with Brother Roland speaking on, this is what's going on, people. If we don't stop them there, in the sense that people say, well, brothers did that, we got to just build our own. Right. We build our own, do our own thing, build our own history museum, teach our own kids Black history. But if you're paying taxes to these people and they're getting service, for instance, Lafayette. And it's funny how Lafayette is like flying under the radar. Brother Takuna was here. We got one of the biggest DEI program that nobody said nothing about, and that's not being removed. You got a public building called the Cajun Dome, and do you remove the word Cajun? Isn't Cajun a DEI program in a sense, technically? But you're not removing that, Mayor Blanco. You're not advocating for that, but you support those. Donald Trump is not a powerful person, as y'all know him to be. He is only as strong as the people that keep him in power. The Project 2025 crowd. You got one, Kevin Roberts, a proud UL Raging Cajun graduate who's one of the main architects of Project 2025, who hails from Lafayette. You're not rolling on his case. Kevin did not remove Cajun from everything. So what they're telling you people, this is not about, supposedly reverse racism that we overcorrected when we had DEI program. This is all about anti-blackness. We got to make DEI anti-blackness. That's the word. DEI is the new N-word for them, these people out here. And if we don't put them in check, it's going to continue. There'll be more and more of the same. They could be taking away everything. Just like if these, let me say, if these athletes at the University of Lafayette, Louisiana, would stop running, these black athletes stop running the ball, kicking the or running the ball, shooting it in the hoop, maybe we would get their attention. But you know, we got too much vested interest in promoting sports, and sports is the end all be all for everybody. But if it's not bringing up the community as a whole, it's not really doing us any good. Just a few millionaires, few rich people, few good people who doing well. But if it's not using it to gain power, like in the civil rights era. So what I'm saying, people, ask your mayor president if she support, when you see her next time, the greater MAGA movement in Baton Rouge, which is Jeff Landry and Blake Miguez, or the one in Washington, D.C., which is Stephen Miller and Donald Trump and all those in between. Ask the mayor president if they support people like that. And people forget when Trump's favorite line when he's talking to law enforcement is, when you arrest them, don't be so nice. Remember that, people. Why we seeing all of these cases in Lafayette where police are punching handcuffed suspects, and in all these other places in between. It could come back. No wonder we don't have no movement on Ronald Green, because guess what? Nobody's going to prosecute no cop for Ronald Green no more, because this president has a mandate. And to top it off, I think, let's see, let me bring up this image right here where we see, let's see, Representative Troy Carter's and others who are attending a situation where one of the federal lockups, detention centers, where they are trying to meet with some of the people that they engage in what you call extreme rendition, something the CIA used to do back in the day, kidnap people and take them off to some far place. Well, they took a couple of university students who are here on visas to study, because they spoke out against Israel. So you see what was going on here? All these things are reminiscents of history of what the Nazis did before they gained all the power and went on to kill so many people. Well, this is what they you know, the plans is, what's the end game for black folks, Brother Jay? Well, maybe, just maybe, it's the same end game that happened to the Jews. But, you know, we got 40 million plus strong, and I don't think it will go down like that. But they got people who are telling you what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and they're enacting all type of laws. You know, they got this voter suppression law where now you got to produce an actual birth certificate to register to vote. They're doing all types of things. And it's not about the immigrants, people. That is the biggest distraction. The immigrants in South Louisiana harvest all their sugar cane. They might make some ice rays and so forth, but none of these people going to be taken away from those jobs who are supplying these farms that are run like large corporations. Will be taking their workers away, where they make all that money, these farmers, and get all these extra incentives from the government to grow foods to sell to people who need. They're not going to be getting rid of those people, because those people, you know what? These people contribute. They contribute to those politicians in office. They contribute to the same MAGA people. They don't want to lose their cash cow. So this is a game that they're going to slightly adjust it to go after black people. That's my perception. That's the way I'm seeing it. So when you ask the mayor president or any one of the Lafayette City Council members who Do you support MAGA? You support all of that stuff they're doing? You know, we got one other show that comes on after this show or these other shows that promotes that MAGA notion. You got to ask them when you see them. Do they support locking up people, kidnapping people? Do you support blackness? Are you anti-black because you're saying I'm woke? Because I got a shirt on saying I'm woke. So I must, and you don't like that, so you must be anti-black. So we got to put it in the same terms they do and reverse it on them. We keep playing around with these things and we see them coming down the pipe. One thing I do respect them on, they mean what they say. We don't mean what we say because we see people like Troy Carter standing up there, Johnny come lately, black Democrats in the state of Louisiana who do things late. That is the problem. And you know why? Because here's another image I want to say. Here's what they create. They create voter apathy. The biggest creators of voter apathy in this state are the politicians in office right now in Baton Rouge. They are the biggest creators of voter apathy because they don't stand up and fight for anything. The first day the Trump administration kidnapped those people and brought them to Gina and Basile, where they have these large detention camps in this state. Already Louisiana is the prison capital of the world. They should have been Cleo Fields, who begged the black community to vote for him and begged the court to keep his district active. He had black folks all riled up about that. First thing Cleo should have done, him and Troy Carter, as the only two black members of the Congress from the state of Louisiana, they should have been out there at these prisons and protesting. But you know what? We got the same thing. So here's what they created. Voter apathy. Nobody want to vote for people. People are tired of going and voting for and getting all riled up, and they don't even fight. And what are they scared of? All they're scared of is losing a seat. Lose the seat, if that's what it is. I mean, so that means you want the seat so bad that it must be something lucrative behind the seat. The seat should be for fighting for the people to get something for them, not to be worried about the next election cycle. So I'm just saying, people, you know, you could take it, like Brother Dara said, you could take it or you could let it alone. Here's some more MAGA stuff that is going on. We have, we just talked about youth violence and youth violence prevention with the forums going on in Lafayette and in Baton Rouge. We have this issue where the Louisiana Attorney General wants to move more teenagers from juvenile to adult court. And I wonder if that's going to encompass the violent youth that they arrest or all of them together. So you got to wonder about that before you ask for that. They want to spend millions of dollars for that, but yet they want to do away with the Department of Education. And they don't want to even contribute to like-minded black schools who want to at least teach our kids some black history. So even if you're saying you're a black entity that want to start your own black charter school or what, getting federal funding for that, the question gonna be, will you be up for it? You know, let me accept this phone call right here. Go ahead, caller. Welcome back.
Yes. Good morning, Brother Jay again.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I don't want to keep calling back, but the thing of it is, you're talking about the legislation that's going on in Baton Rouge right now.
Yes.
You know, when you look at the news media, all the white legislators are speaking up for what they want. You don't see black elected officials speaking up against it or for it. You know, not even on the sidebar of media. Right. And those things are the things that's hurting us. That's why we have voter apathy. You know, they convince people to vote for them because they tell us one thing, but when they get there to get the seat, they do nothing. And when I say nothing, that means nothing. That's just like all. All means all. Nothing means nothing. They don't try to fight for us for the people that they beg for our vote, you know? And those are some of the things that we better make sure that we recognize on things that's going on. You know, I'm gonna bring up this about Lafayette. You know, Lafayette Council used to be 5-4. Now it's 5-5.
Right.
Because a person that looked like us, supposed to be for us, went for the okie doke and say that was the best thing that ever happened for Lafayette. And that was the worst thing that ever happened for Lafayette. The parish council have their meeting first, and then they have a meeting together, and then Lafayette City have their meeting afterwards. So whatever the parish want, the city have to go along with it. And they might have something on the agenda that's for the city and the city only, where the parish don't have to vote on it, you know. But the thing of it is, we are stuck in the mud, we spinning our wheel, we digging holes, and long as we digging the hole, we're gonna go deeper in the hole. And it's like I said, they got people that look like us now. Martin Luther King Center, you know, was allocated money to enclose the pool so black kids could learn how to swim year round. It might even been a heated pool. You know, I'm hearing that, and don't quote me on this, but they are trying to take the monies from there and put it somewhere else so our kids won't have a proper swimming place to swim, you know.
And Brother Wallace, I know it's a side note. What about the jail? I'm hearing, seeing news reports about they want to build a jail so bad in Lafayette. I'm trying to figure that one out.
The jail, I don't care how many meetings they have, how many rallies they have that, you know, to stop the jail from being built. It's a parish jail. The parish have control over the city, or Lafayette and Lafayette Parish, you know. So that jail is gonna come regardless how it goes, you know. And we could rally all we want, bring it on the south side, bring it in other areas and stuff like this here. But it's already, the new jail is already allocated for where it's at right now. And that's where it's gonna be built. Now, we could go make all the noise we want, but that jail is coming from downtown to Willow Street. And that's the way I see it. I hope people don't say I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong for what I'm saying. But I feel what I'm saying is right. And so I'm going on my thoughts where I'm at with this here. And that's the bottom line, Brother Jay. Yes. Now, anything else you want to ask me about that jail?
Yes. Well, yeah. The jail is probably much needed in the sense that you got overcrowding in the downtown jail. You're going to have bad conditions. You're going to have safety issues also. So they just should come up with a plan where to put it.
You're echoing a little bit. Well, I'm not saying we don't need the jail. You know, I'm not saying we don't need the jail because a jail is needed because of the overcrowdedness in the one that's downtown now. And when they built that jail, they wasn't expecting the population to be as big as it is now. You know, with Hurricane Katrina coming, we had Lafayette overpopulated at one time. We had crimes that was bigger than what we thought it would be. And yes, the jail is needed. I'm not saying the jail is not needed, but the thing of it is, everybody's crying where they want to put the jail at, you know, and it's called freeway closed. You know, if you got relatives that's in jail, coming from out of town to visit somebody that's in the jail. Is freeway access closed? It got a lot of space, you know, and things like this here. But the property is already bought, already shovel ready, what you how they call it. You understand me? So, and that's what I see that's gonna happen to that jail, you know. So, and like I say, the parish council have more control over what we doing, because people that looked like us, you know, wanted us to have a 5-5 council, and they had white councilmen fighting against it, you know, but the black councilman wanted. Pat Lewis fought against this, you understand me? But people that they thought had a little more clout than him put it in that category, and we went out there and voted for our destruction. And this is what we did. We voted for our destruction. We voted for the 5-5 councilman. You know, Mike Hefner came in, redistrict District 3 to District 1, District 4 to District 5, and that totally destroyed the city of Lafayette. I said it, and I approve the message that I said. Thank you, Brother Jay, for all that you're doing, man. Without you, we wouldn't be getting a lot of the news that we get today. Thank you, Brother Jay.
Thank you, brother. And you can catch Brother Wallace every Friday from 10 to 12 on AOC Community Media. Thank you, good brother.
All right, my brother. Peace out.
Yes, and again, going back to voters' apathy. The thing with that, I know it's not as simple as that. But every time it's an important election, they come around, the politicians, the political people. I've interviewed a few, and we interviewed Cleo on the open line. And one of the things he emphasized, we got to get out and vote. We got to get out and vote. But you know what? It's never really pushed about what that politician going to really do, even if he's caught up in a situation of what I hear all the time, Brother Jay, there's a super majority. We can't do a damn thing. Well, take a page from Sister Jasmine Crockett. Take a page from the two brothers in the state legislature in Tennessee, the Jones boys. I think there's some Jones. Justin and Justin. Take a page from them and do something. Let me play this clip right here from our good brother, Brother Dara and Sister Khadijah at the the Lafayette gun conference, or Stop Gun Violence conference in Lafayette, Girard Park this past Saturday.
Hi, we're here at Girard Park with Stop the Gun Violence. We're here with one of our outstanding activists, outstanding community worker, Brother Darrell Muhammad. Brother Darrell Muhammad, what did you think about the program today? And we were in your city in Baton Rouge last week with the same type of program.
Right. I think what it says is that great minds are thinking just alike. I think it's saying the same thing that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has been saying for years, that we have much more in common than we have apart. And for us to be addressing something the week before, all planned independently, but we're all on the same page, what it's saying is that God wants us all as a people to come together to work on these problems. And as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said years ago, we must unite to save our youth. I think Dr. Wyatt, the keynote speaker that you had here, was right on point. She was very brutally honest with us all in our deficiencies, but also wonderfully encouraging in that we can actually do it. It's not going to happen without everybody, us being a village. And I really appreciate that everybody had the courage to bring this sister in.
Yes,
because it does take courage to bring somebody as real as Dr. Wyatt in. So I want to thank the Legion of people. I want to thank everybody. Look, we're going to be working on the same page. And that's just what it is. Our rise and our unity cannot be stopped.
Yes.
And it's evident in what I saw today.
And Brother Darrell, as you know, it has been the host of Community Defender for almost 23 years.
It will be 26 years in July.
26 years in July. Yes, indeed.
So we have been together for a while.
Some of us is old.
Right. And we want to thank you, your beautiful family, your beautiful wife, everybody that made sure that you were able to get here. And we appreciate you so much. Wa alaikum salam.
All right, appreciate you. God bless y'all now. And we're going to
Sorry, my mic was down, and we was talking about Pete Hegseth trying to eliminate black veterans benefits and try to eliminate black folks from the military. Veterans, black veterans made a great contribution to a lot of things, and it was able to buy homes and get education and do a whole lot. So now the MAGA movement want to eliminate blackness out of the military. So pay attention to that if you're a part of that situation as a veteran. But I want to talk about this, Brother Wallace, and when my mic was cut while I was adjusting my camera, the thing is this. This young man who was part of that gun violence, a horrific situation in Florida some years ago, he grew up. And I want to say we got to have allies in the fight. You know, this young person who's now was elected assistant head of the Democratic Party, and I forgot his title, a vice chair, right? He's basically saying what I'm saying. I'm not even a member of the Democratic Party. I once was some decades ago. David Hogg, 25, announces $20 million to get rid of some of these do-nothing Democrats. And the Democratic Party is furious. Well, you know what? It's about time someone come up with ideas, somebody who's influential as him in the Democratic Party. And maybe black folks should feel the same way too. We got a lot of people, a lot of old Democrats who are not even doing anything. It's great that we have the civil rights movement Democrats who are in there, but they're not even applying the civil rights movement of the 60s in this case, because they're letting the MAGA crowd do whatever the hell they want. Like I say, Cleo and the Louisiana Black Caucus and what's his name from New Orleans should have been the first people down there when they started opening up these jails to kidnap people and bring them down here to Louisiana. They should have been up in arms. They should have been having protests, but or standing in the doorway. But they're not going to do that. So maybe this young man is on to something. Maybe this young man is on to something, and hopefully we could get him on the open line radio to talk about that. Time to get rid of these do-nothing Democrats. And if you get offended by it, the only way you would be offended by it about it if you are do-nothing Democrat. You are do-nothing Democrats who created the voter apathy, the same voter apathy that you accusing the people of after the election day because you didn't win or something issue that you didn't that you promoted didn't win. So he has the right idea. I wish people look him up. David Hogg, vice chair of the Democratic Party. He wants to get rid of those do-nothing Democrats. Please support it. That's what I say. Let me bring up this other image, and I know time is winding down for us. I want to bring up one more image concerning. We'll go back to here. You can't cancel Black history. You can't erase Black history. Let me remove this graphic right here. You cannot erase Black history. People remember that. Keep that in mind. That's what they're doing down here. Mayor President Blanco, people supported her. Black folk asked her if she supported the MAGA movement. Black folks supported her, but do she support the MAGA movement or any politician, Republican, that you might call your friend? Even some of our brothers down there in New Iberia who support Blake Miguez. You know, get your head turned, screwed on right. Blake Miguez is MAGA as they come. They're trying to run him for the United States Senator against Cassidy. So pay attention, people. And I'm gonna close with this. And I hope the people understand what we are up against. And Real Talk TV is dedicated to telling you the truth, the whole unadulterated truth, with some extreme commentary that some people probably can't stand. And you have to be just as descriptive, just as forceful on your issues as the MAGA movement is. When you're gonna not be able to send your kids to school or not be able to go and study Black history or to read a book from the local library because the MAGA movements have determined that is against their best wishes. They're trying to erase history. They're trying to erase the truth. We are on the slow walk to Nazism in another form. Believe it or not being extreme, it got all the makings, it got all the same pattern. People pay attention. And they got collaborators, and you should pay attention. So I'm going to close with this. Thank you, and see you again on another edition of Real Talk TV.